In this video, you'll learn how to load your own project data through the Data Manager and set the corresponding status types used in ArcGIS Urban. Projects are used to visualize models of proposed buildings in the context of the built environment. Project status lets you track the development of the proposals. We'll begin with adding project status types. In the overview, click Manage to access the Data Manager. Click Types, and from the drop-down menu, select Project Status Types. Click Configure. Here you can see the current project status types for Melbourne. You can add any other status types by clicking the Add Status button and adding a name. For name type, under Review. When adding status types, you'll have to add the custom ID. You can think of the custom ID as a join ID. When you upload new projects, the join ID is used to connect the project with the status. If there's no join ID on the status, all uploaded projects will have no status. Choose an icon to represent the project status and click OK. Your project status type is added to the list. As you track future projects in your city, you can assign these status types. Next, we'll add projects. Select Plans and Projects, and from the drop-down menu, click Projects. This is a list of projects for Melbourne. These projects represent new building proposals that can now be evaluated and managed by the city. You can add projects from a feature layer or from a spreadsheet. Let's look at the process to add projects from a feature layer. The feature layer has already been added for the Melbourne instance, but you can follow these steps to add your own feature layer representing your city's projects. Click the Add button, and from the drop-down menu, select Feature Layer. This feature layer represents the extent of projects in Melbourne. The feature layer can be any layer that you've published, that's publicly available, or available within your organisation. Here I'll type in projects_Melbourne and click Enter. Select the feature layer and click OK. A field mapping dialog comes up. In the Match Fields column, you'll see field headings with an asterisk next to them. This means they're required. If you've used a feature template that we provide, then these will match up automatically. When you've finished matching the fields in the source layer, click OK to validate the features. For Melbourne, this feature layer has already been added, so I'll click Cancel. Your projects will appear in this list. Check that your projects were loaded with the correct icon and the correct status. Next, we'll add a feature layer that contains the buildings associated with the projects. Under Plans and Projects, click Future Buildings. You can see over 1,000 buildings exist for this Melbourne instance. But in the event that you have to load buildings for your city or update an existing buildings feature class, let's walk through the process. Click Add. Here you can search for any feature layer that's in your organisation, anything that you've published yourself or is publicly available in ArcGIS Online. For Melbourne, this is in my organisation and it's called Melbourne Future Buildings. I'll select the feature layer and click OK. The field matching dialog box comes up. For the project field reference, choose a field in the source that has the same value as the join ID for the projects. For height, select a corresponding height field in the source data. When you're adding your own feature layer, click OK to validate the features. Because the layer has already been added, I'll click Cancel. Return to the overview. You can see the project locations and the future buildings for each project, symbolized by a color that represents the project status. In this tutorial, we learnt how to add project status types, projects, and future buildings to ArcGIS Urban. In the next tutorial, we'll look at how to add parcel and zoning layers.